Today's video, we're going to talk about what's a good beginner bike for a person to get. I mean, honestly, I don't really feel like there's a such thing as a beginner bike. The main thing to be cognizant of when you're buying a bike is if you're a person that can handle the weight of that bike. I mean, if you're scared of getting a 1000 or a Hayabusa because it's fast, you have to flick back that throttle and make it go fast. If you as a person are just kind of doing things that you don't really have any business doing on a bike that you don't even know how to ride, that's one mentality to have. But if you're a pretty responsible person and know that you don't have any business going 180 miles an hour or 160 when you barely know how to ride, that's a whole different story. But the thing about so many people is that they get afraid to have fast bikes like this 1000. Like, you can't do that with a 600 or a 750, you know? I would just say, just have sense and don't go really fast, you know? Can you handle the weight of that bike? If it falls, can you pick it up? Is it, you know, can you get around corners like you need to? Are you a person of enough stature and enough size to get around on that bike? I feel like a lot of people, they're scared to start on 1000s because they feel like it's somehow like a deadly bike. Like, no bikes have any type of protection regardless. You know what I mean? So that's just something to be understanding of, is that regardless of what type of bike you get on, you're never gonna have any protection. It's not gonna matter if you smash right into the back of a car. Like, if you really want to be fast, you're gonna need at least a 1000, you know what I'm saying? At the very minimum, you're gonna need at least a 1000. There's not any real way around that. You're always gonna be learning and getting better as a rider. But the thing is, whatever you start out on, I feel like you're supposed to have the mentality of what you're doing with that bike. Is it gonna be a drag bike? Is it gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be kind of almost looking years ahead to kind of look at it like, okay, what am I really going to do with this bike? You got to be thinking about this stuff like in advance, you know? And I mean, it's kind of hard to think about it in advance. Like, I really just fell in love with going fast, honestly. Like, racing world, sports bike, everybody's going to be talking smack, you know what I'm saying? Wide body Hellcat, crazy. After a while, it's just going to be natural, like clutch lever, brake lever, rear brakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just gonna be in your mentality. Throttle, how much throttle am I giving it? It just becomes second nature after time goes on. Your bike isn't controlling itself, you're controlling it. So when you ride the bike, you want to ride the bike, you don't want the bike to ride you. So if you're scared of your bike is gonna ride you. You're gonna be fearful of the torque, you're gonna be scared of the horsepower. You're gonna think that, oh man, this bike is just so crazy. I mean, but really it's just taking your time and learning how to ride. I mean, you're gonna be scared at first regardless of what type of bike you're riding. Like I say, you don't have any protection. The main thing is just to be smart about what you're doing, you know what I mean? Obviously there's idiots around, obviously there's a lot of different things that could happen when you're riding, but from like when I was a beginner, the least thing that you should be worried about is what size bike you're riding. Honestly, like, that's the least important thing that you should be worried about. That's the absolute least important thing you should be worrying about. Oh man, I'm riding a 1000, I'm riding a 600. Like, come on now. And like I say, it's all about thinking about what you're doing with the bike. What are you going to do with that bike? Like, for real, like, honestly, be honest with yourself. If you think you're going to race or you think you're going to do anything, at least the 1000. But if you're not, you know, to each his own. You don't have to race, you don't have to do this, but be honest with what you think you're going to be doing with that bike. He creeping, she creeping. You know what I'm saying? That's the stuff you got to watch out for. Ladies like that creeping in cars, you don't know if they're going to pull out in front of you or not. You got to have real good awareness and real good reaction speed, you know, more than anything else. Like, yeah, we can talk about my bike's a 1000, my bike's a Hayabusa, my bike's a 600, but it don't really matter at the end of the day.